Hello, welcome. Today's project, a morning routine, and why implement a morning routine. First thing is that there is too much uncertainty in the world and only a little bit of certainty, but yet so many people today live with too much uncertainty and almost no certainty because we are routine creatures after all, and we can get into really bad routines unconsciously and fall prey to habits that only produce more snakes and problems in our lives, and that only increases the uncertainty, and it makes people anxious, it makes people depressed, and it's so chaotic. And I see it all the time with my clients, and so many things about their lives have gotten beyond them that they can't contend with it all, and so they're trying to wrangle in everything that's going on and trying to build more certainty in the uncertainty. And a morning routine helps you build on this certainty so that, you have this sacred space of challenge in the morning for you, separated from the superego and what culture expects of you. Now, that's the thing that's really important here, is that when you separate yourself from the phone, from the TV, from the stimuli around you, and you have this space to yourself, not only do you discover things about yourself that are unsettling but interesting, also you separate yourself from the collective voice that tells you to be one thing, that the things on the radio, the advertisements tell you to be somebody, or to fear these things, or to concern yourself over these things. And it can become this voice in your mind that's not even you. I see it all the time, not only with myself in the past, but with my clients. They don't know who they are because, they've been running this program of culture in their minds, and that can be very toxic because they sit with themselves all of a sudden to meditate, and they're overwhelmed by their thoughts, by the emotional memories of their past, by what they're not pursuing, but by the mistakes of their current day-to-day lives are. And by sitting with themselves, they're like, oh my God, I just don't even know who I am. And so how do you build on this different identity, or this independence away from the normal of culture, the suffering of culture we see nowadays, the obesity epidemic, the mental health crisis currently plaguing the world at the current moment. And so that's the real amalgamation of today's video, is what can you do in the morning to build on this independence and this new identity that you unconsciously, or you're currently becoming aware of, that you want to create for yourself. In the morning, it's really important to challenge the mind body. Now, you can do this in many ways. I like to meditate, I like to write in a journal, I like to take a cold shower, and I just like to stretch the body. And so all of these things help the mind and the body simultaneously. Now, why this is important is because there's many reasons why. First of all, certain habits have a bleeding effect, which not only do they help you in the moment, but they help you throughout the rest of your day. So, for example, meditation, it helps you to release any repressed emotions, it helps to calm the mind, and it also helps to activate your rest and digest system, because so many people wake up anxious, alert, and they're running around bouncing from one thing to another. So it helps them to calm down and add space into their lives. But also journaling helps you to release unwanted concerns, emotions. It helps you plan the day. It helps you plan what you want. It helps you cement in an aim, and that's also really important too, because I think that having a vision of what you want yourself to be like in the future is absolutely crucial. Where do you want to live? How do you want to live? What emotional state would you like to be in continuously throughout the day, in a more neutral state, or do you want to be completely anxious and stressed all the time? What does your job look like and relationships look like? So exploring all of this will help you to establish your aims. But also, I think challenging yourself physically to something is very, very important. It could be exercise, it could be a cold exposure. I like to do cold exposure because I think that my mind, it's very interesting because my mind is giving me 1,000 reasons not to go into the cold. I'll do a cold plunge, I'll do cold showers, and I've been doing cold exposures for about 4 years now. And it is a challenge for me because in the winter, when it is minus 20 and I get up at 5:30 to jump into that cold shower, that is a major challenge because I just want to stay warm, and it's dark out, and it's like, well, I do it because the mind says no, but I know that there's going to be great benefits after I take the cold shower. And so exposing yourself to a challenge on purpose will help you gain particular set of benefits. And so one thing people do ask me is, how cold should the cold shower be, or how challenging should my morning be? And that is a really great question. I say that a sign that it is cold enough is that when you are in the cold, the mind says, no, this is uncomfortable, I want to get out of here. And that's a sign that you need to go in there, right? And you want to be on the edge of what you tolerate, and you want to build on this tolerance. That's important because you are building on this resilience, and you are bypassing this voice that's telling you not to go in there, which is interesting because that voice comes up throughout the rest of your day. So you're already training yourself to not listen to that voice, and that builds resilience to the other stressors of the day. And Dr. Andrew Huberman, who is a neuroscientist, he says that because when you do this, you learn to maintain mental clarity while our body is in stress mode at other periods of the day. That is huge. And so we are more likely to lean into other challenges of the day when we confront voluntarily really difficult challenges earlier on in the day. Now, when I was suffering from health anxiety, I avoided any challenges. That's why I am passionate about jumping into the cold shower in the morning, because I know my old self would avoid anything that felt uncomfortable, and then I started to view myself as a whole as a weak, unhealthy person. Now, when I started to take cold showers and meditate, I realized I am capable of a lot more than I thought I was capable of. My body could tolerate a lot more. I thought my body was a weak, fragile glass thing that could break and shatter at any point. And when I started to challenge my body, I knew that my body is way more resilient than I thought. And I started to see myself as a different person, that I am stronger. And then it builds on this self-respect at the same time. And then when you do something that's challenging, you increase your dopamine, first of all, because you're progressing towards this goal. The goal is, hey, I just want things to be better for me. That's the goal, right? And so when you do something challenging and when you give back to yourself in the morning, you see yourself progressing towards that goal of wanting things to be better for me. And then that produces dopamine, that makes you feel better, and it also produces serotonin, because people who are depressed, they have low serotonin. They're hunched over, they're vulnerable, right? And so you emerge from the challenge in the morning as someone who is, well, capable of facing difficulty. And you see yourself differently, and that produces serotonin, and you feel better. And that bleeds out into your day. That's why a morning routine is so important. Lastly, you have to face these challenges so that you get the positive emotion. Because when you see yourself progressing towards something, towards the betterment of you, you get positive emotion. Progression equals positive emotion. And so there's nothing but good coming from a morning routine of meditation, of exercise, of a cold plunge, a journaling. Build on a morning routine. You build structure, certainty, resilience, and self-respect. And that's where I'm going to leave you on today's video. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Make sure you check out the podcast playlist below. I have a NoFap playlist below. I have so many videos and content pertaining to anxiety recovery, pertaining to addiction, just pertaining to, well, the goal of how things could be better for you. And, well, I came from a very deep, dark place of anxiety, from depression. I was in a rough state, and this is why I am here. I'm passionate about this because I saw myself progressing, and I discovered parts of myself, many parts that I didn't even know existed. Rise above anxiety. I'll see you next time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell so that whenever a new video of mine appears, you will be one of the first to know. Namaste.